Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the last episode of the Bootleggers Shack, the special edition of Fixing Up the Commonwealth. I hope you are all well today and doing well. So, we are going to get rid of a lot of stuff here and then start building. So what I'll start to do here is I'm just going to see what kind of heights we've got to play with. Now, this is very much inspired by the burrows in Fallout 76. Now, thank you for your comments last week regarding the fact that I do tend to reference these things without actually showing what I'm talking about. As far as if you haven't got Fallout 76, you probably have very little idea what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave once again I'm going to leave the link down below to both Mikey and Shell's videos on the Bootlegger Shack, that is aka Quick Smoking Vault Girl 145's links to the challenge build videos. You can have a good look there and it will give you an idea what I'm talking about and what the Bootlegger Shack actually looks like and what I'm referencing. With the burrows, again, I'll leave a link to the inspiration video that I did a little while ago, and you should be able to see also the burrows and what inspired this build. So, as I've said before, the burrows area Fallout 76 is a very interesting kind of area, and it's the building in the kind of burrows type way is a very, very loose way of building, and I like it a lot. Take your head outside the fact that you don't need to necessarily have the standard kind of roof, walls and roof, and just think of it as a series of rooms. It's probably the best way of thinking of it. Series of rooms. And build a little settlement with a series of rooms, and you shouldn't go wrong. And it will make sense as we go through today's build what I'm really talking about as far as the way the kind of overall look it should be. You should get when you're building like this. I am enjoying it a lot because it gives you a lot of creative possibilities building like this. And if I can ever get this piece of wood place, we can move on with the build. At this point it's been an absolute pain in the you-know-what. So what I would suggest, well, this is how I did it, let's put it that way. I'll put the floor down first to find out how much buildable space I actually have. And the beauty of building with something that's inspired by the burrows, and if you look around Fallout games in general, you'll see Bethesda have built like this quite a bit. It's very loose and yet it's very effective. So I put these walls in, just finding where kind of they'll fit and where they won't fit, and then we will just work our way through that depending on what it gives us and what it doesn't give us or allows us to do. So basically just drop a wall in and then drop a wall on the other side, and that's the start of your room basically. That's how it works. It's not hard, and we will put a couple of layers on this, a couple of levels, just to give it a little bit more interest. But it's a very simple way of building, but very effective. Vary up the walls. That's one of the keys. It's one of the keys of doing this. Vary up the walls. Vary up half walls and full walls and all kinds of stuff, just to see what you can come up with. It's quite a pleasant way of building. So that's really all you have to do. Now, if you're going to do what I do with this build today and put an upper level, obviously you're going to have to put roofs stroke floors on, but you don't necessarily have to do that either. That is purely up to you. It could be to fill in a corner. If you're looking just to sort of fill in a corner with this kind of building, you can do that. There's all kinds of possibilities here for you. I'm going with a really scrappy kind of shack outer walls that have that kind of protrusion. There you go. Just about got that pronounced properly. And I like to have big words, and I like to bring you new ones. So protrusion, I can't even say it. Anyway, is the word of today. So it has that slight kind of, you can see it's a little bit, it's not as flat, it's a little bit more three-dimensional than just a standard flat walls. Protrusion, I'm going to be practicing that for days now. Like I say, just vary up what walls you're using, what type of wall pieces you use, and all kinds of stuff like that. And there's really no rules to doing this. You can use what the heck you like. And you'll probably see I do go through a couple configurations here before I'm happy with this, but it's all part of the process of trying to build something like this. Very, very loose and quite a refreshing way of building. You can see I'm just going, okay, what would happen if I put that in? Oh, that's quite nice, don't mind that. Okay. And like I said, it really takes you really need to take your head out of how you've built in the past and just completely flip that on its head, and just try it and see what happens. I'd love to see, if you do try this, I'd love to hear how you've gone with it, and I'd love to see maybe you can pop up some shots, screenshots on Discord if you do try this. It's very, very I'm really winging this whole build, and you can see I've put that kind of end shack in there. That wasn't planned. I'm just experimenting, and then I'm thinking, I could potentially put a second level in this because that, like that. So you can see we'll put that on there for now, and then we can put another level going that way. Keep it very scrappy. That's the key to doing this properly. It has to be reasonably scrappy and look very improvised. So no problem for me doing that. It certainly is improvised. Okay, so I've talked about this many times, but what I'm trying to do here is try and figure out what potentially how this could flow as a second level. And also I don't want to ruin the overall look of the bottom section, which is, I'll put this up here so I can see, because it's a bit dark in here, and it just gives me a little bit more light. I think I forget that that's up there, and I'll leave it there anyway. But anyway, or are we going to get rid of it? We're going to get rid of it. What are we going to do? Oh, I'm going to put a different light up there. There you go. Just to give me a bit of light to work with. It's not part of the design. It's actually just so I can see better, and also lighten up the footage a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so up to you whether you want to use floors or roofs here. You can use these roofs do double as floors. Up to you. You could also use the floor coverings for workshop rearranged if you have it loaded there. And you can see I'm just experimenting here. There's no hard and fast rules. I'm experimenting to see potentially what I can come up with. And it's as I said, I enjoy this way of building, because not only does it kind of unlock your creative brain, which potentially could be a dangerous thing, I guess, but it also kind of just lets you free roam and just see what happens. Do all your ideas work? Probably not, but it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. I think it's quite an exciting way to build something. So I'm going to put that in there like that, just so I can put trying to use the available space, but so I can drop something on there when I'm ready and I have an idea what I want to stick there, and you'll see that hopefully a little bit later. So there's a lot of footage to get through today. I'll potentially cut down some of the less exciting parts or speed them up or whatever, so we can get through the whole lot. And thank you so much for the support on the last 3 videos. I know you've been enjoying watching this, and again I would encourage you to take on the challenge. This is a great little build, and I know a few of you reckon this is one of my best builds. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've enjoyed it a heck of a lot, because it has been reasonably challenging, I know a few of you have been saying, well, you've given me some new ideas of how to do building, and that's what I love about the community. It's all about sharing our ideas, sharing how we do things, and you know, improving what we do, coming up with inspiration and ideas, and just seeing what happens, which is the kind of magic of building in Fallout 4. So there you go. These little touches don't look like much, using these kind of ply boards, but they make a lot of a difference to the overall look. As well, I believe they do. That's my opinion. Just drop this down a little bit. Quite soft, that one, so it'll just hop in there. And that's as much building up top as I really want to do in this section. I don't want to do much more than that. And again, I'm going to use something I haven't used for a while in here, because it kind of suits it. I don't want to block it up too much. I want it supported, but I want this to have a very kind of open feel about it. A kind of series of rooms in here, and a majority of the build is really how you decorate it. But obviously you need to get that kind of foundation right first before you can decorate it up. So yeah, those stairs annoy the heck out of me. I'm not going to show you what the fix I end up coming up with, but I tried changing them. I can't find an alternative that'll work there. So after faffing around with those stairs for a while, anyway, I didn't show you. It wasn't really. I think it was worthy of spending a lot of time showing you me faffing around with those stairs. I will work in here a little bit more, because, and I encourage you to do this, use all your available space in here. That's one of the key things that I like doing, and if you're going to use all your available space, then make sure that they're all linked. So here's a little bit of decoration. I'll probably cut all this out, because this is one of those areas that I kind of decorated left, came back, decorated a little bit more, and you can go over the top, so there is a point to stop at. But you can see I'm adding a few little things in here. Just it's again very loose way of decorating as well. You don't need to have much in here, but it needs to be things that would make sense to be in here, is the best way of putting it. And the key to building like this is don't block up things as much as you would normally do. So potentially I'll put that on there, but I'm not going to block up that other side. So usually you would do that. Here there's no need to, because it's, like I said, it's a very loose area, a loose way of building. Vary up the materials you're using. It's going to fit in there like that, and that could be a little room in there, and it may not have a full wall, it may just be open like that. So yeah, it's an interesting, when I saw this design when I first, and it was an additional it was additional content from Bethesda. I was quite excited by it, and I think Mikey and I actually went through and played that, and we both got very excited when we saw it. So I think it's quite refreshing to see something like that, because it really does speak to the apocalyptic, there's a big word for it, apocalyptic feel of the game, and potentially how people would just kind of throw things together. And that's kind of the feel of what I'm trying to do here. It's just the best they could do at the time. I've gone upstairs now, and there's a little space in there, and this is what I'm saying, use your available space. There's a little area in there. I'm like, what can I fit in here? Roughly what can I fit in here? Now I don't want it to go straight on, I want to angle this slightly. So I may have to just drop it a little bit there, and then be able to angle it there, because I want it to kind of fit across that area there towards that tree. I'm gonna have to switch off collision to do this. You could use, of course, those ply boards or whatever you like, but yeah, I want to kind of angle it across that way and then build something in that space there, like that. And again, don't block it all up with walls and supports. Keep it nice and open. I have no idea how much space I've got here. That's part of the challenge here. Is that going to fit there? It'll probably go sideways, you know, but let's just see what we can get to fit in here. Using trees and working with trees is also, I like to leave those in there. It could potentially could give it another kind of look to it. That's too big, that doesn't fit there. But we could potentially put some kind of platform around here. So this is just a case of trying to work out what I want to do with this particular part. You know, with the Workshop Anywhere mod, you can't actually move any of the assets that are already there. So it does kind of get you to try and think outside the box a little bit to hang on. Potentially to see what you can do with certain things that are actually there that you can't remove. It's not going to let it, and this is the fight. This is the beauty of the fight, that is for like, there we go. See that? So that was two small ones that it let me put in there. Wouldn't let me put a half floor in there, but quarter floors, not a problem. Can we potentially put that in here? Yes, we can, sort of. Yeah, that's going to fit in there, and I think that is going to go nicely in there. That kind of works for me. Should we try a different one? Just change it up so it's just a slightly different look. I bet you've all been here before. Oh, okay, hang on. See, and there's the happy accident. I was trying to put it somewhere else, and I was like, oh, hang on a second. Back up the truck. That actually kind of sort of works. Yeah, I like where that's going now. But I didn't have to kind of glitch it or anything. Yeah, no, that's all right. That works for me. Oh, I can kind of sort of move with that. Yeah. So you can see sometimes you just try chucking pieces in and see what happens. Yeah. And this is what I'm doing. I'm just experimenting with potentially where it will fit. So moving right on, there's another space in here, and we'll come back to the other one in a while. There's another space in here that I'm like, can I build anything there? I've got the height. I've definitely got the height in here to work with. So what can I actually put in here? So one of the biggest problems I've got, again, can't scrap any of those assets because of what I'm using to build outside the settlement. So I've got to have a floor that's a little bit taller than those bushes there, just so they don't stick up through the floor basically. And so that's kind of the determiner of how high this particular part is. And what I'll do at the end of this video, hopefully if it's not too long, we will we'll give you a tour at the end. We'll give you a full tour, just to refresh your memory of how things were looking and stuff like that. Of course, we have that. We also have that ladder up above us, which is going to help restrict us slightly. But again, once I've got certain things in place, I like to try and work my way around it and just see what we can come up with. So it's not a major drama. So put a big ladder in there like that. We've got enough room. Yeah, we're not going to bump our head, so that's good. And we're in. I like it. I like where it's going. Again, keep it loose. Your design can be whatever you want it to be. It really doesn't matter. Put one of those in. Yeah, that's all kind of starting to work. Yeah, I like it. And we're utilizing this corner. We probably would have ignored this corner before, but why not build here? If you've got the opportunity to, you might as well. So now I'm going to test to see if I've got any more buildable space, and I really haven't. I'm starting to encroach into that bunker building there. So what you now want to do is make sure that you're using things like these railings, so that you keep the open feel here, and that you're not closing it in with full walls. If you're going to do something similar to this. So sometimes I have to drop to do that, but yeah, we don't need those floors. But if you want to keep it a nice open field, this is how to do it. Just use railings. They're great, and vary them up. You can see we've got a little bit of a wall there, but it has potentially what you could consider windows in it. And actually, once I get done with this and I stand back and look at it, it prompts me to do some tweaking to part of the build that we've already done. I'm going to put a roof on here, just sort of, because I want to hide those kind of pieces above. That's the only real reason I'm doing it. You don't really have to do this if you really want to go for that kind of full feel, but yeah, I think it kind of, for me, it suits what I want to do. So that's what I'm gonna put in a couple of tin roofs like that, and that's it. It's all nice and open. Still got that open feel, but it's a little bit enclosed. So I look at it and I'm like, I quite like this. I like how it's all going. I might tweak a little bit another part of the build. Now, I potentially was going to do some building underneath that, and I decided not to do that, but I'm running back and forward. So it kind of, this is what sometimes happens when I'm looking at that going, I can do something a bit different in this area to just give it a little bit more depth, make it look a little bit more interesting, but still not kill the vibe of how we've been working with this. So we're going to put I want a wall in there of some kind, so I'm going to do a couple of these. There we go. That looks like that. Put a little wall in there, so we might have to put one in there and then put another. Oh, there it was. It's all about the angles in this game, isn't it? The way you're looking at it. It's quite weird sometimes, the angles you have to get to get a piece to fit in. So that'll fit in there. That should force that in there now, or not. Maybe we're going to have to put a piece across there and then put another piece in there. There we go. That's what we have to do. And take that away. Beautiful. And yeah, that's just changed the feel of this area here, just slightly. You can see the thought process. I'm just having a look and saying, what could I actually put in here? And don't be scared to do this. It can always kind of sort of be whatever you want it to be. Now there's a gap there. I don't really care, because of the nature of what we're doing and how we're building. It really doesn't matter if there's a gap here in this kind of building. It really doesn't matter. It's not as disciplined as what you would normally be used to doing. Is that going to fit in there? I wonder. Doesn't seem to want to. Maybe if I spin it round. There we go. And have it the right way. There we go. Yep, I like this area. And I already have in my mind what I'm going to do with this area up here anyway, so. There we go. So, as you can see, as you build through, it evolves. So let's get into the tour and we'll finish off. So you will see how the decoration now makes this whole bottom area kind of come to life. We showed a little bit of decoration in the last video, but this is a different level again of just how many assets are there, and that you'll need, and you'll need a lot of assets for this build. I'd say it's a 50-50 percentage as far as assets and decoration goes. The building is only kind of half of the process. I've tried to keep the bunker area here as true to the Fallout 76 build as possible, given the assets that I had at my disposal. And yeah, various mods. I think it's more, the decoration is much more about the well-placed assets rather than what you put them there, what should be there or what could be there, what makes sense to be there, rather than just chucking a whole lot of things together and hoping it works. At least with this one you've got a guide, and don't forget to, if you want to really have a good look at what the Bootlegger Shack's all about, please use the make sure you use the links down below for Quick Smoke and Vault Girls videos, and it'll give you a real feel for it. Always encourage you to try and push it a little bit further than the normal, because if you're just duplicating what you've done in Fallout 76, then it doesn't have your own feel to it. So you can see the amount of assets that are now being put in here to make this place come alive. And it's kind of interesting to come back after having showed you the kind of base components of the build, come back and just show you what I've kind of placed in here, and what kind of made sense to me at the time. I'm sure everyone that does this will have a slightly different view of what should be in here. But you can see this is very open, kind of open plan living, if you like, in here. So I think we go upstairs first, or do we go down? These mannequins sort of made sense here. There are mannequins in the burrows, so spent a lot of time looking for different items I can put in here and stuff that would sort of make sense to be in here. But you don't really, you can put whatever you like really. You just don't. The key to this is not to put too many in here. And what I try and do is tell a little bit of a story here. So there's a little communal table there where you can sit and have a chat. There's a barbecue cooking area, a little workshop area in here, and obviously you need those propane canisters and whatnot to power a few things. You know, there could be 1 or 2 people living in here at most, maybe a few more, but not that many. There's a couple of beds in here as you've seen, but that's pretty much all there is. And you're not going for a full, you're not going to build a whole livable kind of room or settlement or kind of house. You're actually looking at trying to have the individual areas have some kind of purpose, I think is the key. So again, this could be a little kind of kitchen, if you like, in here. And up here in the Spirit 76, we've got some kind of workshop down below us, but we've got a few machines here for your disposal, which you'll see all through 76, these kind of areas. And then of course obviously a little sitting area if you want to do whatever you need to do. So hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for all the support on this particular special edition of Fixing Up the Commonwealth. I've really had a lot of fun with this project. It was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding, and it is really nice to hear your comments saying that you're also getting a whole lot of ideas, which has always been the intention of sharing my builds on the channel. Thanks so much for being part of the community. Thanks for joining us on the channel. A like rating is always appreciated, and we'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya.